Welcome to Notebook, a program of interest to the St. Lucie County community that features information about St. Lucie County schools. Guests include school district and community leaders with focus on children in our community.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Notebook. This is a show where we connect you, our viewers, with community officials, school district personnel, and other organizations that impact children and family throughout the Treasure Coast. And we are so glad that you're with us today and excited about what we have to share with you about the upcoming events for the Martin Luther King Commemorative Celebration. And it's coming up around the corner. It's hard to believe that we're past the holiday season and into the first part of the new year, and looking forward to some exciting celebrations and activities that we're going to be a part of. So we have two wonderful guests with us, and I'm very excited to have Dr. Chris Taylor with us. We don't get a chance to see you as often as we used to, and just glad that you're with us, and we're going to find out a little bit about your role with the Martin Luther King celebration. Along with her is Miss Dianne Williams-Johnson, and we're excited to have her back. She was with us last year, and again serving as the chairperson of the MLK committee. So I know these are a very big task that you have taken on, and I know we talked last year that really the planning for this starts as soon as the previous year is over. So lots of work to get ready for this. So let's find out a little bit about you first. Dr. Taylor, it's always great to see you.
Thank you.
No stranger to St. Lucie County and many years with us. Just tell us a little bit about your professional journey. I know a lot of the people in the audience know you and know of you and the legacy that you've given to St. Lucie County schools. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and also what your role was previously to retirement.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here. Before I retired, I was the district liaison to the MLK committee, but prior to that, served for many years as the representative for Delta Sigma Theta on the MLK committee. Delta Sigma Theta has always started the activities with an opening reception, and so we have always been an integral part of the committee probably from its inception 32 years ago. So we've always been a part of this committee, and when I became the district's liaison, worked very closely with the committee in bridging that gap with St. Lucie County schools.
Very good. And prior to that, just as on the education side of it, I know you were in the classroom for many years, principal. Share with us a little bit about your the progression through your path through education as well.
Okay. I started my journey in St. Lucie County schools at Fairlawn Elementary School, where I taught PE for a year. I didn't know that. Many people don't know that.
How about that?
Many people don't know that.
Yeah.
Most people remember me as a guidance counselor because I taught 1 year as PE and then went right into guidance and stayed there until I went to Lincoln Park Academy. When Lincoln Park Academy opened as a magnet school, I went there as a guidance counselor and was there until I went to, I served as middle school and high school director of guidance there, and then went to FK Suite when it opened as a magnet school, Jerry McPherson.
Right.
And we started that program, then went from there to Bayshore Elementary as the principal, and then came back to C.A. Moore as the principal, and then to the district office.
Wow.
Spent 10, 11 years at the district office before I retired.
Quite a journey. And how many years before you retired
I was in my 37th year.
37 years. Wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, you have such a legacy, and everybody, anytime we hear Dr. Taylor is around, everybody wants to try to see you or and see how and catch up, see how you're doing.
Well, it's always good to come back. I am very involved still with St. Lucie County schools because I really do care about kids. Yeah. And so that's what it's about.
There you go. And we're very fortunate to have you close by.
Well, thank you.
Well, Dianne, let's find out about you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your professional journey and your path as well, and what brought you to the position that you're in currently.
Okay. My professional journey started out at Westwood High School. Kind of fresh out of college, taught in computer science, but don't ask me about any technology today. I do my best. After that, I kind of moved away for quite a while, and I served the Levy County School District as well as Palm Beach. And so now I'm back working in my community. It's going on like 8 years now that I've been back in St. Lucie County. I returned here as a guidance counselor in alternative ed, where I was housed at the St. Lucie Regional Detention Center as well as Del Casson. So, and then the job came as a transition specialist, which I'm housed now at the district office, and this is beginning my 5th year as a transition specialist, where I track students like a motivational piece, you know, spokesperson for students that are trickling through the juvenile justice system. So I am that positive motivator that assists with the families and, you know, just an encouraging piece for the students.
Trying to make that connection for them to complete. Yes. Right, right. Yes. Well, I know your role as the chairperson for MLK, there are so many events that a lot of people, until last year, I'm not sure I was aware of all of them, even being in the schools. So let's talk a little bit about all the events that lead up to the parade is kind of our end. That's our end celebration. But there's a whole week full of, I know it starts with the Week of Kindness. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Week of Kindness is sponsored by the Treasure Coast chapter of the Charmettes Incorporated. And that organization started around 1951 in West Palm Beach. And two friends got together and they wanted the women in the community from different walks of lives to get together and make a difference in the community. So the main initiative and the focus, the mission of the Charmettes Incorporated is to raise money for cancer research.
Oh, wow.
We donate money locally here on the Treasure Coast, as well as funds to Howard University in Washington, D.C. So we're trying to help eradicate the cancer, and even locally we assist by donating funds for women that may not be able to pay for mammograms and things like that. You know, early detection, intervention is the key to fighting that cancer that a lot of us have experienced, whether it's in our families or someone within our circle. It could be on the job or in the church, but we're all impacted and affected by cancer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good. So that's our opening event. And then I believe the same evening is also the opening reception. Is that right?
Right.
Chris, can you talk about that?
The opening reception is pretty much is the beginning of the MLK activities. It started out years ago as it was a VIP reception where we invited all of the dignitaries from the community to host and we hosted a reception and invited them to be a part of all of the activities. It has evolved now into just an opening reception, and anyone is invited to participate. This year we always do it. It's always on a Friday night, starting before the beginning of the activities for MLK. And so this year we've got, we always have a speaker. Dr. Massey usually comes and he does a welcome address, welcoming the community to IRSC, because they are partners. They are partners with MLK also. So he comes and he welcomes everyone. But it's pretty much anybody who wants to come and participate. This year our speaker is Virginia Baker. She is the newly named County Administrator, Palm Beach County. She is a history maker because she is the first African American female in that role.
Wow.
And
awesome.
She is from St. Lucie County. She is a graduate of Fort Pierce Central High School.
How about
so
that?
we are very, very
proud.
excited about her coming to speak to us.
Right.
And we will be, Westwood High School's chorus will be singing also.
They always do a fabulous job.
Oh my goodness.
We always say they're the best kept secret in St. Lucie County.
They are.
But they do a fabulous job, and so that starts the opening reception. It's usually about 2 hours.
Okay.
We recognize dignitaries who are there, but it's not just a dignitaries event anymore.
Right. That's wonderful, and a great way to start the big celebration. A
Kickoff.
nice little kickoff.
Right.
Very nice. Okay, and then the following day, which would be January 9th, I know there are a couple different events on this particular day. Tell us a little bit about the Youth Symposium. I know that's at Lincoln Park Academy. Can you speak to that a little bit, Dianne, with the Youth Symposium?
Sure. The Youth Symposium is sponsored by the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And what they do, each year they put a different little twist to it. They normally have different businesses, entrepreneurs, people just coming out to speak with the children, to let them know what's going on in the world around them and how to get there, how to be successful. One year they had the astronaut. I will never forget that. That was the dynamite year, I think.
Right.
But they had the black astronaut, and what happened, his mom had attended college with someone that was within that organization. That's how they got the young man here. But the kids are very interested. They normally have about 200 to 250 kids. So we try to encourage, the committee as a whole tried to encourage all of the churches and the different civic organizations to send the kids out to get this treat. And at the end, lunch is offered to them. Last year they had, it was like a career day where they had different speakers from the fire department, the EMT, different people from the community came in and spoke with the kids, and they play little games with them, and they allow them to be in the leadership roles because the youth kind of participate within the program.
Right.
And it's like they kind of help steer because it's the youth trying to get, keep in, how would I say, with the youth. So
Okay.
if they, you have your peers standing up speaking about it, and that normally get the other kids
going. Right, right.
And then there's a break in, and then we have the men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which is Dr. Perry's fraternity.
Right.
So they sponsor the Youth SAR Worker Contest where the young people are given a packet of information. Normally during the time when the spelling bee information, the parade information, they all go out to the principals and they give it out. And the students have a topic or a title regarding dealing with something with Martin Luther King.
Right.
And they have to write, and they do orations, and they're awarded prizes. So, and that's like the second half of it. So we ask that the kids not leave the auditorium because they're fed lunch and then they leave. And this year there's a new twist with the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. And I'm gonna let Dr. Taylor kind of talk about what the community could possibly look for regarding the blood drive and voters registration, if you will, Dr. Taylor.
Surely.
Thank you.
They have, and this is the first year for this activity,
Oh,
but
great.
they have planned a voter registration drive and a blood drive
Wonderful.
to get youth involved.
Right.
And so hopefully and parents, adults, anyone can donate blood, and we'd love to have the youth
Sure.
register to vote
Right.
if they're old enough, and even if they're not, they can
They can
pre-register.
pre-register,
Yes.
right. I remember
they
doing
can
that with my
pre-register.
kids.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, they
Yeah.
can pre-register to vote. So
Great.
that's their activity, and this is the first year for that. So hopefully that'll go over very well.
And making that connection with the community is such a plus.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So good.
And we
And
were
especially-
also, I'm sorry. go ahead.
Especially next year is an
Presidential,
election
right.
year, and so hopefully it'll get all of the students excited about
And interested.
and
Yeah,
interested
right.
in getting involved in
Right.
learning more about
Sure.
the elections and
Good.
the candidates who are running
That's
for
great.
election.
Right.
And even for the adults in the community, Mr. Roderick Johnson, he explained also last night at our meeting that they will have the paperwork and the knowledge for those adults in the community that may have felony charges, how to
Right.
restore their
Restoring
voting
rights,
rights.
right.
So
Right, right.
that will all be set up out there that day. So
And a lot of
You know.
people may not even realize that they're able to do that, to actually be able
Right.
to restore. So that's a great opportunity
very
to open
important.
that up as well.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. All right, so we're to Sunday,
Sunday.
January 10th, and that's the ecumenical, I hope I said that right, service.
You said it right.
And that really, in looking that up, that was a new term for me, is really bringing all of the
It's
beliefs
really an
together.
interfaith service.
Right.
It started out as an interfaith service, and we've just sort of renamed it ecumenical service.
Yeah.
But it means the same,
All
different
together.
faiths coming together
Right.
to worship and to realize the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Absolutely.
he didn't just fight for one, he
He
fought
for all. Right.
So,
Absolutely.
Right.
That's awesome. And that one is at the Notre Dame Catholic Mission, I
Yes.
understand. So and at the end of the show, we're going to have all of the dates and everything. Craig's going to put those back up too,
Oh,
just to
great.
kind of run.
Okay.
So people will be able to go back and check out those dates. The one that I always enjoy hearing about is the Candlelight service. I know that starts at the Lincoln Theater. Last year, I know they were renovating it, and it's complete now.
Well,
Is that
the
correct?
outside.
Okay, the outside. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but that's how I always kind of picture his movement and his belief, and just walking together as a group and really standing for
Walking in
everyone,
unity.
just like you said, right?
Absolutely.
And just picturing, the candles being lit, and how one person. It only takes one person to make a difference, and
That's
that's exactly
exactly
what
right.
he did. And
He did.
so when I hear about the Candlelight March, you just kind of pictured that back then, even though I was a pretty young kid then. But yeah, I was kind of saying my age there. But tell us about the march. And I know we said where it starts. And do they have someone that actually leads it? That I know Dr. Washington, I think, was the person that was leading it last year, possibly.
Well, we have the men of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and Simi Burns is the person that spearheads
Okay.
it. And we meet at the Lincoln Theater, and we march to one of the local churches. And this year, again, we will be marching to Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, where the NAACP ceremony, and Dr. Taylor could speak on that. But we meet there, we pray, we say a prayer, we kind of give the kids a little speech as to why we're marching.
Sure.
The purpose of the march. We normally have Sheriff Mascara is there, so hopefully the new
Great.
Chief of Police will join us this year, and maybe she will come out and march with us, and we just sing songs and just march and just have a good time exercising, walking
Yeah,
from
there
the
you
theater
go.
to the church.
There you go.
And so and then once we get to the church, we look forward to the service after church.
Right.
And yes, Dr. Washington is a part of that fraternity also. So
Good deal.
yeah, so it's always a great thing, and very warm feelings that we get
And
when
how
we're out there.
long of a walk would that be from the theater to
From the theater to
the
Mount
church?
Olive, maybe a 25-minute march, because we don't rush the march.
Yeah.
And we normally have the community, what you call it, little friendly, Mr. Mudrow, what is that?
Oh, the community,
The-
he's the guy that drives the community observation.
okay.
No,
Oh,
it's
like
courtesy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got what you're
community.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
the courtesy.
And
community
he loved to lead that march.
Huh.
He don't want anybody else to lead that
How about
march. He does a very good job, and a lot of times he's the one, if the minister is not in our midst, Mr.
Right.
Mudrow loved to
Aw.
lead the prayer, and he is proud. He very proudly lead us in that march.
That's awesome.
In that car, yes.
That's sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, that he wants to be a part of it. Well, one of the, on Friday, January 15th, is the MLK Spelling Bee, which I got a chance to be a part of last year.
Oh, great.
That was
And
really
we
fun.
really appreciate
We
it.
had a great time. Tell us a little bit about that, because I don't know that everyone realizes that this is open to kids throughout the
Throughout
St.
the
Lucie County.
district.
Right.
Okay.
So
The
share with us a little bit
MLK
about that.
Spelling Bee is sponsored by the Ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and our sorority has been sponsoring it for a long time.
Right.
And it is open to students enrolled in St. Lucie Public Schools in grades 4th and 5th. Not residing in Fort Pierce and going to school in Martin County, but attending one of our St. Lucie County schools. So we have that challenge sometimes
yeah.
when,
Yeah.
And we always have a great turnout. We normally have like 40 plus.
Oh, yeah.
Or I should say 50 plus.
Yeah.
And I know the longest round, we the kids challenged each other, and Miss Olivia Watkins was pronounced it that
Right.
year. It was like, what? Like 9 rounds plus or
Oh, my
something.
goodness.
And we
It
were
was
at
long.
something It was very long. But the kids are all intelligent. They look forward to spelling.
And they take it very seriously, too. They do.
truly
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
And so we really appreciate the parents
Sure.
allowing their children. And see, the parents have to bring them out for the parent meeting and then their practices. And people don't understand that we have practices. So, the kids have to participate in every practice schedule.
Right.
Because we have a deadline to meet with the college, where the certificates have to be made, the programs, we want the kids' name on the program. So,
Right.
and we really, really appreciate the parents allowing their children to participate in the spelling bee. Is always a big success.
Yeah. There was a nice crowd there last year.
Yes, and we
Yeah.
really appreciate you
Yeah,
last year.
that was really fun.
Yes.
Well, now we're toward the end of the week, and we're toward the awards breakfast, and again, that's back at IRSC.
Yes.
At the Public Health Health Building over on Curvy Loop Road. And that's sponsored by the ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority. Gloria Johnson Scott is the chairperson of that. And there is a fee for that, but it's just a small fee.
Right.
And it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. They have a speaker. They spotlight youth. Last year, I believe they had the youth from the Gifford Activity Center, the orchestra from the Gifford Activity Center, and they were phenomenal, right? But they do spotlight youth, and they usually, last year, and I know in previous years, they have given backpacks to
Yes, every year.
schools.
Oh, wow.
And last year, I think it was C.A. Moore Elementary. They give backpacks to schools
right.
at that breakfast. But
Very nice.
it's usually about 2 hours long,
Yeah.
maybe 2.5 hours long. But it is very, very nice.
Very special. Very good. And then we finally get to Monday, January
The
18th,
grand
which is
parade.
Martin Luther King's, when we celebrate his birthday. And this is a very big activity, and I know a lot of organization goes into this because it's a huge component of our community. So it's not just the schools participating, but churches and so on. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know this is a huge competition between the schools, and
Oh, yes,
everybody
it is.
looks forward to it because I can remember we were getting our floats ready when at a couple different schools that it's just like everybody wants to win. All right, we got to come up with something that will go over the top so we win because they really want that
They
trophy.
want to be the first
They
float.
do. They want to be the first float too. That's
Yes.
exactly right. Yep.
And
Yeah.
Cheryl McCrary is the chairperson of the parade, and she does a phenomenal job. And Miss McCrary really kind of have her one lady show, but she
Right.
thinks she can do it all, but she'll learn as she get older. But she does a phenomenal job with it. And this year, every year you go through with the people calling, so if you know people at the schools, they're going to call and say, well, Diane, could you tell me which number our check hadn't been cashed? This
yeah.
thing. Now we want to be first. And I said, Cheryl McQuarrie, you can call Miss
Call her.
McQuarrie.
Yep.
And so, and it's always exciting, and the community really, really supports the
They do.
parade, and they be
do.
from Avenue I all the way to near the hospital.
Right.
And Dr. Taylor, you may want to elaborate on that.
It's not just the schools and organizations, but the elected officials also. School board participates, the county commissioners, the city commissioners, the mayors. And I believe last year, Port St. Lucie is always invited. So here again, even though the activities are held in Fort Pierce,
right.
it's a St. Lucie County activity, and so we don't ever want anyone to feel that
right,
they
to limit that.
right,
Right.
that they should not or cannot participate.
Right.
But yes, it is, and it is a phenomenal
Oh, yeah.
event
Yeah.
Yes.
each year.
Yeah.
And it culminates at Lawnwood Stadium, and then that's where the other activities will take place.
Take place there. Yeah.
And
Always a
it's
big
like
event.
entertainment, and that's where they announce the winners of the floats and everything. And they have a health fair that Arlise Hall with St. Lucie County Health Department. She does an awesome job setting up. They have blood pressure checks
Right.
and different health
Cholesterol
booths
checks.
set up out under the tent. And then the vendors, they come out, they sell food.
And everything is free with the exception of
No,
the
there's a
food.
$3
Okay.
Entry fee.
Entry fee.
Into
Okay.
the
$3
festival.
entry fee.
All right. Good to know. And if someone was interested in participating in the parade, how would they go about that? Because I know there's a small fee if someone wants to be a part of that parade as well. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. That's
Okay.
correct. I think it was what, like $25.
Right.
And then at school, say if you put a float in for $25, and if you want your ROTC, and it's like an additional, maybe like $5 or
It's
so
an additional
for
Okay.
each additional band or
Band or
something
group,
like that.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
But if it's a float and a walking unit, then it's just the $25.
Okay. All right. And that would go through Ms. McCreary
Yes,
as well?
Ms.
Yes.
McCreary.
Okay.
And she wants them mailed. Can't drop them off. They have
Oh,
to
I
be
remember.
stamped. And you know, to keep
To be fair.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely.
You have to do it.
Absolutely.
And as they come in, they're stamped.
I can remember when I was I think I was at Fairlawn then, and they had their packet ready to go the day
Ready.
before the deadline that we could, the first day that was open for us to send in.
To
It was like,
submit it.
okay,
That's right.
yeah. So we,
Miss
and I think that
Gascon,
yeah, Miss Gascon was on it, and I think we were either first or second in line. So she was very proud of that. So that was good.
Fairlawn many times would be first.
Oh yeah. She was ready to go, which was great. Well, can you reveal to us who the Grand Marshal is going to be? Because that is a huge honor
It
for someone to be chosen as the Grand Marshal of the parade.
Right.
Can you share that with us?
It is my pleasure to announce that the Grand Marshal for the MLK Parade 2016 is Dedelia Finlayson. She is St. Lucie County grown, homegrown, and she is the first black female superintendent at St. Lucie County Juvenile Detention Center. And I'm really proud of her, and I've worked with her now for like the past 8 years.
Right.
I'm going into the facility, but I also know her from Francis K. Sweet when we played in the sand and played
that right?
kickball
As
and
kids?
everything.
How about that?
So yes,
Wonderful.
and I'm really proud of her accomplishments, and it was just an honor. Although we had a lot of great people nominated,
Sure.
but we had to talk it through and vote on it, and Superintendent Finlayson was the choice for this year, and I congratulated her, and I'm really proud of her.
Well, congratulations
Yes.
to her. That's awesome.
And we also have the junior Grand Marshals. They're going to be Brianna Mitchell, and she's a member of the Precious Pearls of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and Mr. Malik Spivey, he's one of the Men of Tomorrow, sponsored by Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity.
Very good.
So we are very
Malik
pleased
attends
with those
Westwood
kids.
High School.
Okay.
And Brianna,
And Brianna.
I think, attends Lincoln
I
Park.
don't remember.
Maybe
Maybe
Yeah.
Lincoln Park. I
that's
think.
great. And what a
What a
great
great
opportunity to
choices.
pull the
Yes.
kids in to
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
community effort. That's wonderful. And one thing that, as we're getting ready to close, one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize too is the money that is also comes together to support scholarships as well.
Absolutely.
And just phenomenal job that you do through these events in providing scholarships for students. And really quick before we go, can you just tell us if a student is interested in a scholarship through the MLK process, how would they go about applying for a scholarship through that?
The scholarship chairperson is Mrs. Gertrude Walker
Okay.
from the Supervisor of
Supervisors.
Elections office. And she sends out the applications each year, and
Okay.
they are submitted back to her office.
Great.
And it's usually right around early spring that the applications are sent out.
Very good.
And there's a committee that looks at the scholarships and makes the selection. I believe last year the scholarship recipient was Celicia Ellis, I believe.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, and thank you both for being here. It's just been a pleasure having you and finding out about all of the events that are going to be coming up, and just what a wonderful way to bring the community together, and what a difference you make in providing these opportunities for everyone in the Treasure Coast. We really appreciate what you do, and to really highlight all the efforts that Dr. King, really his whole legacy has changed the world, and
Oh, yes.
And to be able to celebrate that with you and with the community is a true pleasure. So thanks for being with us, and
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
being
having
with us
us.
today. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Notebook. Have a great day.